My fellow South Africans, today I want to speak from the heart about the issue of farm attacks and farm murders in South Africa, particularly given the events yesterday in Senekal. At the outset, I want to express our deepest condolences to the friends, the family and the loved ones of Brendan Horner, who died tragically and needlessly in one of the most brutal and violent crimes that we've seen. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family at this time. And that is why we sent a delegation to be with the family outside the court in Senekal yesterday to show solidarity. Sadly, Brendan Horner's case is not an isolated one. It is the daily lived experience of many farmers, farm workers and rural communities across South Africa. Our rural communities are under siege and in the grip of violent criminals who prey mercilessly on our farmers, farm workers and members of our rural communities. And the worst part is they appear to do so with absolute impunity, with the perpetrators never being brought to justice. This has rightly led to anger and resentment building up, and this is not helped by the comments made in KZN a fortnight ago by Bheki Cele, which were callous and uncaring about the scourge of farm attacks and the real deep feelings around this issue in South Africa. They're not helped by a president who just doesn't seem to get to grips with the fact that we have a real problem with policing in our rural areas, and that our farmers, farm workers, and our rural communities are under siege by violent criminals who prey on them every single day. The scenes that we saw outside the court yesterday are not going to help advance the situation. We need to come together as South Africans, united in a common purpose to beat the scourge of farm attacks and to bring the perpetrators to justice. That should be our mission. It does not serve us to tear each other apart, to point fingers about who is left and who is right, who is wrong and who is right. We need to unite around a common set of principles and plans to tackle the issue of farm murders once and for all, to send a serious message to the criminals who to date have preyed with impunity that this will not be tolerated in South Africa anymore. And that is why I'm very proud that last year we were able to put on the table a rural safety plan that almost immediately, without changing a single law, would put more personnel, equipment and intelligence on the ground so that we could bring these people to justice. These criminals have no place in our society, and we must condemn violence in all its forms wherever we see it. But we must also know that, as Martin Luther King famously said, if we adopt the approach of an eye for an eye, the whole world will be blind. We need to stand together across all communities to fight the scourge and root these criminals out. And that is why I recommit the Democratic Alliance to taking the fight to these criminals, which is one of the reasons we introduced the Court Watching Brief program, which makes sure that cases are prosecuted and then we bring the perpetrators to justice, and when they appear before court, that they get the harshest sentence possible. It is only when people start to see justice in South Africa that we're going to turn the tide against crime and criminality. We are going to continue to use every platform that we have, just as we have over the last decade, whether it's Parliament, our councils, or where we govern, to take the fight to the criminals and ensure that they face the full might of the law and understand that in South Africa, this type of violence, this type of abuse, this type of siege on our rural communities will not be tolerated.